So when I am looking at mid-segment sorts of things, one thing that I do know is that the mid-segment of a trapezoid is parallel to the two bases. So I know these are parallel. Another thing that I know about a mid-segment is that it is the average of the two bases. So to find this length of this mid-segment, I would take my x plus my 41 and divide it by 2 to get 29. Well, to solve this, I could turn this into a proportion and cross multiply. So x plus 41 times 1 is x plus 41. 2 times 29 is 58. When I subtract 41 from both sides, I end up with x is 17. To find y, another thing that I know is that the mid-segment connects the midpoints of each of these legs. So if this is the midpoint of this side, if this is 11, y is 11, and I don't need to show any work for that. I do need to show some work for z though. If this is the midpoint of this side, z is going to be half of 13. So z, I just need to take 13 and divide it by 2 to get z is 6.5. There weren't any units on here, so I don't need to put units on my answers, but the work on here is work that is required. If it's a triangle, the same idea is there. These things are it's parallel to this third side, which we don't really need to know in this problem, and it's really the average of these two sides. But this is actually a 0, and this is 14, which means that this actually ends up being half the length of this third side of the triangle. So to find y, I'm going to take 14 and divide it by 2, and I'm going to show that work, so y is 7. Again, the mid-segment connects the midpoints of the side of a triangle. So if this whole length is bisected, if this is 21, x is 21, and I don't have to show any work. To find z, well, if this is 16, this is also 16 because it's the midpoint. This is the midpoint. So z, I'm going to take 16 and multiply it by 2. Z is 32. I did have to show that work. Now, this situation, they have this wall right here where they're showing pictures or artwork or something on both sides of that wall. They want to create a path around that wall so people could walk on this path and see the artwork. And they probably also have pictures on the outside walls of the room out here. Well, it says the center wall is 70 feet long. So I'm going to mark that this is 70 feet. The dimensions of the path are 40 feet by 85 feet, so this has to be 40 feet. This has to be 85 feet. Find the dimensions of the room. It tells me that the wall is parallel to the two opposite sides. The ends are equally distant from the other two sides. So this is equally distant from here as this is from here. So this wall is centered in the room lengthwise here. So it's connecting the path to the mid-segments of the triangle and the trapezoids formed by connecting the ends of the center wall. So when I want to find the length of the room, and I honestly don't care what you call the length and what you call the width. As long as you showed me the correct work and you had the correct answers, I could live with it. I labeled this wall x, length x, and this wall length y. Well, to find x, I'm looking at this trapezoid. And I know that this is the mid-segment of that trapezoid. So x plus 70 divided by 2 has to equal 85. This mid-segment is the average of the two bases. Turning this into a proportion and cross-multiplying gives me x plus 70 equals 170, and I multiply the 2 times 85, so x is 100 feet, if I make that the length of my room. This mid-segment of this triangle is half the length of this side, so to find y, I just need to take 2 times 40, which means y is 80 feet. You do need to show the work for the problem. I know I keep saying that, but people keep not showing work.